Hello beautiful ones. I'm Rebecca and this is my full moon report for Pillars of the Moon. So those of you who are new to my channel, thank you for subscribing and thank you to all my lovely followers. Yeah, I've been super excited about talking about this full moon because it's in the sign of Cancer in the lifetime sky, and so it's so exciting, this time of year here in the Northern Hemisphere. We're about to celebrate Imbolc, which really weaves in well with the energy of Cancer. So I'm just going to share a screen with you. Just going to dive straight on in. So let me see. This one here, I think, is the one. So yeah. So we're going to zoom in on that. So this is the constellation of Cancer, and this is the full moon. So the full moon will be in the stars of Cancer in the lifetime sky, and it will be on Thursday the 28th at 19:16 in the GMT time zone. So this is picture that I've taken is from my phone, from a application called Star Walk 2, which you can get for yourself if you would like to. It's a really great way to see what is actually going on in the sky. So this full moon in Western astrology is in Leo, but you can see clearly from this image that I've taken of the lifetime sky on the time of the full moon that the moon will be actually in the stars of Cancer. So I'm going to stop sharing that now. Just wanted to show you all that. And another really interesting thing is that at the time of the full moon, the moon will be in conjunction with the Beehive cluster. So this is the Beehive cluster. So this is about 8:30. So the moon has just moved on past here. So at the time of the full moon, the moon will be about here. I've done a picture of it just afterwards so you can see where the Beehive cluster is. So that's the Beehive cluster here. So this is the Beehive cluster in the constellation of Cancer. And so the original name for the Beehive cluster, it comes from the Latin word for the Manger. Beehive cluster is a cluster of stars, basically, that's right in the heart of Cancer, the constellation of Cancer, the mother. So, the Beehive cluster, and the Manger, really does bring in this kind of feeling of fertility. And, because the bees are really connected to fertility, obviously. We couldn't pollinate all of our plants without them. Yeah, so I'm just going to stop sharing that screen now. So interestingly, in my research that I've been doing, I found that the ancient Egypt constellation for Cancer was actually the scarab. And so the scarab was a really sacred insect in Egypt, known for its regeneration properties. It's about transformation, renewal, resurrection. It's the restoration of life, and it's connected to the sun god Ra. This is just from my research that I've been doing around this full moon. So, it's interesting when we look at constellations, like, to me, I see them as archetypes, archetypal energies. And so, we have an idea of what Cancer is, the constellation Cancer and what it means to us. Or it could be what we've learned from other people or whatever, different astrology. Everyone has their own interpretation of this energy. But when you start looking, at different cultures, ancient traditions, you see that the constellations are known as different things. So we go from a crab to a scarab, and that's quite a big difference, and all the constellations are like that. So I think it's really worth exploring, the meaning of each of these constellations. Yeah, so I really want to talk about Imbolc. So for us in the Northern Hemisphere, as I've said, we are coming into Imbolc, which will be on the 1st of February, originally, traditionally celebrated. So I'm just going to bring up this image of beautiful image from Wendy Andrew. This is of Bridget. So Bridget is the sacred goddess that is connected to Imbolc. This is her festival, her Sabbath. I just love this image, so I'm hoping that you can all see it okay. Yeah, this is like the fire in the belly. It's like the seed is being awakened in the, it's like conception. The seed has been awakened in the womb. You know, so this time of Imbolc for us in the north, you know, it really is, it's about renewal and resurrection and restoration of life. And, you know, when you think about the time of year that we're in, it's like the sun, you know, even if it's icy and we're still in winter, we might have snow or whatever, the sun is starting to come back. And we're getting this kind of like fertility surge. It's like the hope and promise of the future. It's like the sun god or Father Sky is like shining down his light on the earth, and it's that sunshine, that masculine energy that's awakening and stirring the life in the belly of the goddess, you know. So it's like the fire is within us, you know, it's still buried in the earth. You know, some of the early seeds are coming up, the flowers, the snowdrops, and some daffodils even are starting to open. You know, they're the first signs of spring, but we are still in winter. So what this celebration is about, you know, for me, if you look at this image, it's so gorgeous. It just says everything in one picture of what I wanted to share. Because Bridget is also like connected to the sacred springs and the sacred waters and the wells. She is connected to fertility and poetry and creativity. She's also connected to the swan. You'll see in this picture here the image of a swan. And I believe the constellation Cygnus, which is the swan in the sky. And so this book landed in my lap by my dear sister Hannah. It's the Cygnus Mystery by Andrew Collins, which I've been reading. And, you know, going back through the times this book was sharing, Andrew has done so much research about this, of the swan priestesses and the swan cults that filtrated the whole of these isles. You know, the British Isles, it's Bridget's Isles, you know, Great Britain, Great Bridget. You know, this whole area is, you know, at one point, you know, because in Scotland and Ireland, Bridget is like the patron saint, I believe. And so, but, you know, they found ancient burial sites down in Cornwall with people have been buried in swan feathers and swan wings and with eggs and things like this. So it's like, wow, okay, so this goddess has been celebrated and worshipped in these lands for a really long time. And, you know, a lot of the Newgrange, oh my goodness, yes, Newgrange in Ireland, this is in this book as well. You know, it's like an ancient womb tomb, and it's aligned with the constellation Cygnus. The swans go there every year, you know, so it's like, okay, so what is this? It's an ancient fertility chamber. And on the solstice, the light comes in. It predates the pyramids, I believe. So yeah, it's definitely a really powerful time of year to be connecting with Bridget Anna, Brigantier, Bridie. She has many names, you know, but and connecting to the alchemy of the fire and the water. And so this is what this time of year is about, you know, it's the conception time, and it's about inner union. So when we think about the Vesica Pisces, which is beautifully put down here at the bottom of the image, you can see, this is like the masculine and the feminine, you know, they come together. And it's so like the stars at this moment, the sun is in the constellation of Capricorn, sorry. So the sun is in the constellation of Capricorn. Capricorn in the lifetime sky. And Capricorn to me is connected to the father energy and ascension. You know, it's that kind of, you know, the goat that climbs up the mountain. It's the goat that's climbing up. And so, and with the moon being in Cancer, you know, Cancer is the water and it's the feminine, and the moon is the lunar feminine energy. And so this full moon, you know, with the sun in Capricorn, the father, and the moon in Cancer, the mother, you know, this really is about the embodiment and the love and the union that's inside of ourselves, you know, coming into wholeness with our father energy and our mother energy. And what happens, you know, when we come to this place of wholeness inside of ourselves, this is the center part of the Vesica Pisces, you know. Then the sun will move into Aquarius, and Aquarius is androgynous, and she's also known, they are also known as the cosmic mother, but they are both male and female combined, you know. So what it makes me feel, it's like we go on this journey to meet with our masculine and our feminine inside of ourselves and come into wholeness. And then it's in that wholeness that they bring the energy together, creating the child within. And then we get to Pisces, you know, after Aquarius is Pisces, and Pisces is like the child in the womb. So it's so beautiful, you know, when you see it as a journey of archetypes. And when we synchronize the wheel of the year as well with that, it's so beautiful because it just keeps linking up. Yeah, so in bulk, beautiful time of the restoration of life, of the seeds stirring within. It's like life is starting to awaken inside of us, you know. Cancer, originally, the constellation Cancer, you know, in a lot of astrology is connected to the home and the hearth and the nest, safety, security, like our emotional well-being. It's really nurturing energy. It's the mother, you know. So all of this that's playing out for us at the moment is connected to the mother and father within, because the sun's still being over in Capricorn. So I'm going to say goodbye to this beautiful picture by Wendy Andrew and bring up the chart for this full moon, the sky map. Let's get it up for you. Full moon in Cancer, here we go. Ta-da! So hoping that you can all see. So yeah, 1916 we've got there. I think I'm going to draw on it for you today. I found these new ways to draw on the thing and everything. So anywho, so we can see over here we have got the moon will be in Cancer. Ta-da! And this is in the 13th house. And so 13th house is, interestingly, in 13 star sign astrology, the 13th house is the house of Aquarius, because we use Pisces as the first house because that's the sign that rises at the spring equinox. So we use that as our first house. That's our rising sign, is Pisces in the equinox. So obviously going around the wheel, you know, the 10th house is the house of Ophiuchus. The 9th house is the house of Scorpio. That's why it's so tiny, because Scorpio is tiny. Thank goodness. Tiny but potent. Yeah, so when you come to the 9th house, you get to Scorpio, you have that death time, and then you go down the descent of Ophiuchus, you get to the galactic center, the house of Sagittarius, and then you come into Capricorn, the father, and Aquarius, the mother. So it feels like this inner union within, you know, and this is like from journeying down the descent, you know, of Ophiuchus, the 10th house, the serpent. You know, we go down into the underworld, and then when we get to the galactic center, you know, the great yoni in the center of our universe, you know, that's the gateway to everything else. So we go through there and it's like, wow, so infinite. There's so much there. Oh my goodness. You know, but really, like, that's when I see the Vesica Pisces, you know, and the union consciousness of Capricorn and Aquarius, and creating in the center the Pisces, you know, the center of the Vesica Pisces is a Pisces symbol of fish, and that's the creation that happens when the masculine and feminine come together in union. You know, they create life. And so from there, obviously, we go through our spring. We have our birthing time around the spring equinox, and we have Aries, Taurus, Cancer. Then we come into our summer aspects. Aries, Taurus, Gemini is our spring. And then we come into the summer. We have Cancer, Leo, Virgo. Then we come into our autumn, and we have, oh my goodness, I'm testing my memory now, Libra, Scorpio, and Ophiuchus. And then the winter, you know, I really do feel like the winter is here. It's Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. And these, it is like the inner journey, you know. So for us in the Northern Hemisphere, you know, we are still very internal and in our nest, which really suits the Cancerian energy really well for this full moon. So full moons are like the fullness of a cycle. So, you know, when we had our new moon 2 weeks ago, the sun was over here, over by Pluto and Sagittarius, not the sun, sorry, the moon. Well, the sun was here too. You can see the sun has moved over here now. So at the new moon, it's the time of the winter in, you know, there's 4 seasons in a moon cycle, just like there's 4 phases of a moon cycle. So the new moon is like the winter time. It's the bleeding. It's the death and rebirth of a cycle. So it's also setting intentions for the next cycle and planting seeds. And then we have like the rising energy all the way up to the first quarter moon. And the first quarter moon was over here in Aries. If you remember, we had this conjunction with Mars and Uranus here. So this was our first quarter moon. This was our new moon. So this is like the spring energy or the rising energy that comes from the new moon up to the first quarter moon. And then from the first quarter moon all the way up to Cancer, which we are now, this is like the summertime energy. This is the fullness. This is the flowers open and the sensuality and union. It's about love and beauty and sensuality, creativity, playfulness, all that energy of summer. You know, so the full moon really does reflect that. You know, and so when we look at our personal sky maps, when we look at our personal charts, you know, depending on our own destiny, you know, if we've got stuff in Cancer, we'll be really feeling that around this full moon, because the full moon will be illuminating it. If we've got stuff in Capricorn, also because, you know, it's all in opposition as it is. So if we've got any Capricorn or Cancer in our chart, you know, whatever planets or asteroids are involved will be really affecting us for our own benefit, of course. Yeah, so then when we come around after we have our full moon, the fullness of the cycle, whatever we have birthed at the new moon over here, by the time we get around to the full moon, you know, it's coming into its fruition. Fruition? Is that the right word? Basically, the fruits of those seeds are starting to show and grow. And it's the height of the cycle, the high point. Then, you know, when we start to roll over into and come into our last quarter moon will be over here in Libra. This is the descending energy, which takes us back into the winter of the new moon. So I'm just going to quickly show you the last quarter moon. You can see that. Yay. So the last quarter moon is over here, look, in Libra. Just going to mark it up for you again. I love this little tool, isn't it great? So that's the last quarter moon in Libra. And you can see it's really interesting because now the moon is in opposition to Mars, whereas, you know, at the first quarter, it was in conjunction. So it was next to it. Now it's come all the way around. So this is coming into the releasing part of the journey. It's the autumn. It's like we're starting to shed the layers that we don't need anymore. The leaves are falling off, you know, the skins are just peeling away. And it is a time of release, letting go, reflection. This is where we meet with our wild selves, our enchantress selves, Kali, you know, like that wildness comes out here. So it's really interesting that we have this opposition coming up at the last quarter moon, which will be on the 4th of February, which is 3 days after Imbolc. So yeah, really, really beautiful. And by then, our lovely Venus, you know, she is going to be moving into Capricorn around Imbolc. So if you see over here at the full moon, she is at the end of Sagittarius. There's our Venus. And then by the last quarter moon, she's moved into Capricorn, 4 degrees. So, you know, what's Venus going to be teaching us in Capricorn is connected to maturity. It's about being logical, responsible. You know, Venus does govern our finances, you know, so she's going to be really bringing us into long-term commitment connected to our finances, our values, also our hearts as well, and stability and yeah, security. So this is a really great placement for her, you know, because she's been in the galactic center of Sagittarius, and she's really tuned into the womb and her core values and feelings about what she wants to create. And she goes into Capricorn, and it's like, right, now I'm going to put down these long-term plans and sort this out. What do I need to do to create that? So she meets with the father Capricorn, and he helps her, and they write down a plan. What are the steps to get to that goal? So yeah, so this full moon, going back to the Cancer full moon, you know, there's so many different cultures and traditions that talk about the different moons. And so in the Native American tradition, this moon is the wolf moon. And, you know, because apparently in America, lots of wolves howl in January. I think the Celtic or the pagan, it was like the quiet moon or the snow moon. Some traditions call it the ice moon. It has lots of different names all over the world, but you know, you can tune into which one you resonate with. I really resonate with quiet moon, actually, and ice moon, and wolf as well, you know, because I'll probably be howling tomorrow night. Yeah, so yeah, we're coming to the fullness of the cycle. We are hopefully whatever seeds that we planted over at the new moon are coming into fruition. Fruition, that's the word. Got there. And Imbolc, the original meaning of the word Imbolc, which is on the 1st of February, means in the belly. And it actually refers to this pregnant sheep. You know, at the moment, the sheep are pregnant. They're about to give birth to the lambs in spring. So, you know, Cancer being about the mother and Imbolc being about in the belly, it's the life inside. And so it's really, it can feel like quite a vulnerable time and a really innocent, soft time of like protecting that life and taking care of our bodies and nourishing ourselves, drinking lots of water. I feel really called for this full moon to do a water blessing for myself, my family, and to the land. We have the sacred springs here in Avalon. So, but we're also having a fire as well, because Bridget calls a fire generally. She is connected to the fire as well as the water. So if you think about that, it's like Bridget is alchemy. She is the fire and the water. She is the masculine and the feminine, and she's like, and she's like activating all of that. It's really cool. So it's a really beautiful time to feel what is stirring in our belly, what's stirring in our pelvic bowl, in our womb, and preparing ourselves for birthing that into the world. And so Venus moving into Capricorn, you know, next week, it's actually really good timing, because it's like we're actually preparing ourselves for spring. We're preparing ourselves for waking up from our winter slumber. So obviously a lot of this report is, well, all of this report is connected to the Northern Hemisphere. So I just want to quickly touch on the Southern Hemisphere. So obviously for you, the astrology is the same. Full moon is still in Cancer. The sun is still in Capricorn, conjunct Jupiter and Saturn, and Pallas, Athena. We've got a Capricorn party going on, haven't we, really? Look at all of these guys. Yeah, I don't feel to talk too much about the aspects of the full moon, because I really want you to just tune into what you feel it is for you, rather than me saying, oh, this means this and this means that. But what I'm discovering is that actually our own feeling and our own intuition is actually really good at saying, well, this is what's coming up for me now. You know, this time of year can be bringing up themes about inner union, coming into balance. Our last quarter moon will be in Libra, which is really about balance, isn't it? So balancing the masculine and feminine inside of ourselves. The father energy is awakening the mother energy, and it's bringing all of those seeds up. It's awakening them in the womb. So Southern Hemisphere, I believe that you'll be in Lammas is your Sabbath that you'll be celebrating at this, just after this full moon. And so this is beautiful as well, because you are coming to the end of your cycle, you know, of your yearly cycle. So this is your last celebration before Samhain. So when we are celebrating our Beltane, or spring equinox even, and then we come into our Beltane, you are going to do your autumn equinox, and then you're going to have Samhain. So, you know, it's like the closing time. So Lammas for me, it's always about pumpkins and apples and like abundance and celebration and community, and again, fire ceremonies and giving thanks for all that we've got and all that we've created in our lives. So yes, so those of you who are in the Southern Hemisphere, that's the point in the year where you are now. You know, when you think of this wheel of the year, the astrological wheel, you know, it's like this time here. It's like Leo and Virgo, it's coming up to the end of the summer, and even into Libra. You know, Libra is like the golden time at the end of the summer. And so that's kind of the point where you're getting to now. And then Scorpio is Samhain, you know, it's death and rebirth. And so, yeah, so now in the South, you're like coming into your season of Leo or Virgo, you know, the astrology is different, but I mean like from a seasonal point of view. Yeah, I've been so fascinated recently. I'm just going to stop sharing the screen. I think that's all I'm going to share about that. I've been so fascinated recently because I have been, like, stuff's been coming into my field about different calendars and the Lemurian calendar. And then also I was watching a video yesterday about an ancient African calendar, which has 9 days of the week. And it's like, wow. And there's the threads that are similar. It's like they both use a solar and a lunar calendar. And so I think that's so like amazing, right? And I feel like, because all of them are talking about the Gregorian calendar is like fake time. It's so out of alignment. And I've been writing my own calendar for like 2 years now. And I have to do my own because I've stopped using the old Gregorian calendar system. Of course, I have to stay in it because most of the people are still using it. But like, I really do feel like it's coming to an end. You know, people are realizing that, wow, it actually doesn't make sense from an astrological point of view. it doesn't make sense. And then this video I was watching last night was saying about each day actually has 24 hours and 35 minutes. So where does that 35 minutes go every day? It's just baffling me. So I'm so excited about this, what is coming into my field now, these new calendars and stuff. And also Claudette and her Sky Astrology calendar as well. I'm just so excited about calendars, and me and my dear sister Jodie have been bubbling up creating our own calendar as well. So we'll see what comes from all of that. But you know, it's interesting with all this Capricorn energy and structures, and I have a lot of Capricorn in my chart. You know, I have my Venus and my moon in Capricorn. So yeah, I get all of this. I like planning and organizing things and commitment to long-term goals and achievements and things. So yeah, I'm excited for like a shift into a more aligned way of being, you know, that's aligned with the moon and the stars and the whole cosmos, you know, and using, there's so much more being discovered as well, like every moment. I follow NASA on Instagram, and I love following them because I keep getting these pop-up things about all these new discoveries that they're making every day. Anywho, I'm rambling now, so I'm gonna go. Yeah, so I hope you have a wonderful Imbolc or Lammas wherever you are in the world. And yeah, blessed full moon in Cancer, conjunct the Beehive cluster. Really connected to fertility and community and like sharing, you know, we're stronger together, you know, that's like what the bees are teaching us. And also the hum breath, the Brahmari breath is like a Buddhist type of breath, which is connected to the hum. And I did this in my pregnancy yoga teacher training course, and there was probably like, I don't know, 50 women all in a circle with our heads in the middle humming, and it felt like I was in a beehive. It was incredible. So yeah, that could be a really centering breath to do at the moment. If you're feeling really mindy, just use the Brahmari breath, like the hum, to really recenter, and connecting with the medicine of bees and the honey, and giving thanks to them, you know. And there is promise to come, hope for the future, and the little snowdrops or the brave first flowers that up through the soil. It's not an easy job to get up through the frozen soil. They're pretty sturdy flowers. Okay, I think that's all, my lovelies. Well, I love you all, and I will see you in 2 weeks, which will see us at the new moon, which will be connected to, I think it'll be new moon in Capricorn, and it's also connected to Aquarius because the sun will be moving into Aquarius during that cycle. Yeah, so that is all for now. If you want me to look at your sky map, please just get in touch and I will organize that for you. Yeah, it's just really great to use the lifetime sky for our readings and to include a Fucus, the serpent priestess. I feel like that's super important. Okay, all right, darlings. Mwah. Blessed full moon. I love you. Bye bye. Ciao for now.